The Sootch ST9, let's check it out. To me, firearm designs have become a little stagnant. There are improvements over the originals, but it just seems like it's the same old thing. And so it's really cool to be able to get a totally different type firearm to do a review and just to get out to the range. And that's what we have here with the Sootch ST9. And Sootch is a privately owned company in Turkey that produces firearms and other arms for NATO, the US, and a number of other countries. They are ISO 9001 compliant, and it's a state-of-the-art facility. The Sootch ST9, this is a 9mm pistol. It also comes in 45 ACP as well. It's a fairly large pistol. We'll look a little bit more at that. But one thing you're going to notice right up front are these translucent polymer magazines. A very unique, very different design. Of course, let's make sure the gun is unloaded. We're going to remove the magazine, and as you can see, they come flying out. They have the paddle release on the trigger guard right here for your mag drop, and the gun is unloaded. Now, these magazines are 17 plus 1 in the chamber, so they're good high capacity, very similar to more like the Glock 17 as far as size. One of the things though is you'll notice that the slide is pretty tall. In fact, this is a fairly large handgun. I would consider this more of a combat style handgun because of the size and definitely the weight. In fact, it weighs 30.2 ounces with the magazine in. It is a striker fire polymer frame pistol, which is single action. You have a really nice polymer frame, has texturing on both the front strap and the back strap. It does have interchangeable back straps, and we'll look at that in a minute. And then we have these side panels here. The texturing is nice. It has the horizontal lines both on the front and the back. And then we have some dots here. There's a lot of contouring going on with the frame, as you can see. It has a fairly large trigger guard, and again, we have our magazine release right here. Now, one of the things about this mag release, it does pop the magazines out pretty quickly, but it's fairly stiff at first. And it's one of the things I've noticed. It does have a little bit of a sharp edge to it right here, but the more I use it, it seems like it's kind of loosening up. In fact, I think that there's a little bit of a real tight surface between the paddle itself and the trigger guard. Now, you will notice that the trigger is all steel, which gives it a really good feel. Of course, we'll look at that in a minute. It does have a frame-mounted safety right here, and of course up and down. And then we have our slide release here, or slide stop, and that is mirrored on the other side. This gun is fully ambidextrous. It does have a 1913 Picatinny rail section right here. It has texturing on the front strap of the trigger guard, and it does have an undercut. So it's fairly comfortable in the hand. They're deep, fairly aggressive serrations on the rear of the slide and at the front of the slide. So if you want to do press checks, really easy to do. I like how the slide comes down at an angle. They've kind of trimmed this out, so it gives it a little bit of a thinness here, and then of course down at the bottom it's a little thicker. The sights are metal. They are adjustable. In fact, these are adjustable for windage and elevation, and then we have a dovetail for the front sight. And these are the 3-dot variety. Now you'll see this red marker. This is a cocked striker indicator. Doesn't mean the gun's loaded or unloaded, just means that the gun is cocked. And when you pull the trigger, it disappears. Now, as far as a loaded chamber indicator, right here on the extractor, we put in a dummy round, and it's really pretty much indiscernible. It comes out just a touch, so you could probably feel that, but I'm not sure that you could tell the difference. You can see the brass right here through, but you can't, there's nothing really tactile if it's at night and you can't see. But there is a firing pin block built into this pistol. So it has a number of different safeties, and of course you got your manual safety here. Another great thing about this handgun is that it does not have a magazine disconnect, and I love that. But now we went through the features pretty quickly because I wanted to talk a little bit about just the appearance of the pistol. It has a very futuristic look to it to me. I mean, it has a very different than anything that I've seen out on the market. Now, I have not taken this gun to the range. I wanted to go ahead and just kind of do an overview before I take it down to get a really good feel for it. But overall, it has really clean lines. The finish is a kind of a matte finish on top, sort of a parkerized finish, but yet it's black. It doesn't, sometimes parkerized finishes can look a little cheap on a firearm, but here it's a very fine, smooth design, or finish. So it's really a very nice looking gun. No tooling marks. Everything is done very well. Again, Saucer is a ISO 9001 company, and so there's a lot of quality control in place. That doesn't mean that every SO 9001 factory is perfect, but it definitely gives a standard for them to shoot for, and it's evident in this handgun. The barrel does have a 25,000 round service life as well. And we're going to relieve the magazine, double check to make sure the gun is unloaded, and we're going to check the trigger. Again, it is a metal trigger, which I like. It kind of gives good points to it, makes it a little smoother typically. But we bring it in, very, very smooth take up. In fact, it's real smooth. It gets right here is a tiny bit of just stacking right there, and then a nice snap. It's not a very crisp snap. In fact, I would almost say that it is a soft little click. And I checked this on my Lyman trigger gauge. It was coming in consistently at 5.5 pounds. As far as reset, not too short, but definitely audible, and it's tactile. You can feel it. And so at the range, it's going to be a little easier to just get to that reset and then continue to fire those second, third shots. One of the things about a frame safety, a lot of guys feel kind of funny about carrying around a polymer striker fire pistol with just the trigger safety. Now, your finger is your safety, and I've been carrying those type firearms for many years. But some guys are just a little leery, and they like to have that extra safety right here. And you definitely got it right here on the frame. It's really easy to get to, and that's one of the things too. You don't have to adjust your grip for the safety. You don't have to adjust your grip for the mag release. It's just right here. And I do use my shooting finger for my mag release. It has a pretty high bore axis, as you can see, and getting up there close to where the SIG is, you know, some people could care less about high bore axis. I personally typically like low bore axis. There's less mass, it's coming lower in the hand, and it seems to cut down on muzzle flip. With this size pistol though, in 9mm, I don't think we're going to have a lot of problems with muzzle flip. Now, to give you a good size comparison, I have a SIG P226 here. And you can see that the pistols are really close to the same size. Even the length is the same. The SIG P226 is a little bit bigger toward the back here, but you know, very similar in size. But the reason I brought the 226 out for this comparison is because of the height of the frame and slide at the back. You can see that they're actually just about exact. So in fact, the sight is a little higher on the ST9, whereas the slide is a little higher here on the 226. Now, how will that affect how you shoot? Well, if you can shoot the P226, which these are renowned for being excellent handguns, you know, I don't think that this is going to be a problem. Now, we're going to be testing a lot of different ammunition. My good friend Graham Bates' channel, he was having a little trouble with the 115 grain, so we're going to see what's going on. A lot of the high-powered stuff typically works better, but we're going to be using some of this Freedom Munitions Pro Match and some other different type ammunitions, and just in case and just to see if this is finicky. And I want to thank Freedom Munitions for sending the ammo. You get a 5% discount using Sootch 00 at checkout. And the standard Lula double stack loaders work with these magazines, which is a huge plus. ST9 at 7 yards using the SIG Elite Performance 115 grain 9mm. And I think this is not only good ammunition, but this pistol is accurate. I took the ST9 down to the range. I had only seen one video review on YouTube, and that was Graham Bates, who is a buddy of mine, and I just watched his review. He had a number of different problems with malfunctions on the 115 grains, the low powered stuff. But then he seemed to be able to shoot a lot of it through it. So when I was headed to the range, I had no idea what to expect, and that's one of the reasons why I took a number of different type ammunitions down there. Now we're going to try some different ammo. I'm going to use some of the Freedom Munitions remanufactured ammunition. This stuff is pretty low power. It's great for training and just getting out to the range, but definitely low. We're going to try some of the Elite Performance SIG. This is the 115 grain. In fact, all this is 115 grain. And then we're using some of the Federal SHT rounds, and this is the 150 grain. So I'm really looking forward to this. But we're just going to be testing that out. We've been shooting the Pro Match flawlessly. Have not had any issues at all with reliability. So first, we're going to do the Freedom Munitions remanufactured 115 grain. No problems. Now we're going with the SIG 115 grain. No problems. Now we're going with the Federal SHT self-defense load. That's flawless. Only problem I'm having is a little bit of trouble with the mag release. It's just stiff. Guys, I'm telling you, I had zero malfunctions. People make fun of me for some reason, but if you have a modern firearm right now, if you're having malfunctions, that's a problem. Most guns are reliable. Maybe not for the long term, maybe not totally accurate, but this gun was just great on reliability. The only problem I had was one time the slide didn't lock back, one time. But the other problem is this magazine release, and to me, with the rounds in the chamber, it's fairly difficult. Now see here, I can just flip it out, but a magazine with rounds in it, it was a little more difficult just to pop it out. I think over time that will get better, and I may even get in there and clean that up a little bit. I think it's more of a rubbing issue than anything. The gun itself, because of the weight, you know, it is about 30 ounces. With 9mm, you know, it was just soft shooting. I mean, it just stayed on target. There was very little muzzle flip, and it was a real joy to shoot. I'm gonna be honest, I looked at this when it first came in, and I kind of thought, well, you know, it looks so different. Sometimes you just equate that to maybe it's kind of an oddball. But once I got it down to the range, it definitely surprised me. It does come with a nice blue box, a closed foam padding in the middle. Everything's cut very well. Pistol, extra magazine. You get 2 back straps, small, medium, and large. I have the medium on right now, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to change those out. We have cleaning tools. We also have a nice punch, an Allen wrench, and a small tool to adjust your sights. The owner's manual is very well done. And in fact, it has diagrams and color photos, and it really gets into a lot of the detail, especially when it comes to disassembling the firearm, which is an important part of this pistol. Now for disassembly of the firearm, and of course we've made sure that the gun is unloaded, you'll notice these 2 little notches, and these markers let you know where you need to set it so you can disassemble. Come to the other side, and at the other end of your slide stop, just push that through, and then just remove your slide stop. Next, you want to pull your trigger and then pull the slide right off. Your recoil spring and guide rod. It is a dual captive guide rod. This is a really unique lockup. And you can see where the takedown pin goes right through here. But good and solid steel. I mean, this is a beautiful piece in itself. Then we're just going to pull our barrel out, and we have our slide. And that's all you need to do to field strip the handgun. One thing I want you to notice is the lack of tool marks. I mean, it is a super smooth finish inside this handgun. Also, the size of this locking block is just phenomenal. I mean, it is large and it's going to be very stable. You do have polymer rails at the back, but most of your action's right here in this front anyway. You have your ejector right here. It's good and solid. That's going to last. Now for reassembly, just return your barrel. We'll take our recoil spring and guide rod. Back onto the frame. Now we're going to start the slide stop into place because we'll have to do that to make sure we're in line with our notches. Test for function, and we're good to go. Now to change out the back straps, you use the punch that's included. Make sure the gun is unloaded. We're going to set it right here on this block, and got this at Brownells. These are just invaluable. There's a small pin right here at the bottom of the grip. Push it out, and then we just take our grip, lift it up, and then pull out. There's a tab at the top that locks into the grip. Take the little tab that's on the replaceable back strap and slide it into the notch, bring it down, then bring your pin in, slide it right into place. It's that simple. It's 7 3/4 inches in length. It's 5.5 inches in height. And the width is just under an inch right here on your slide, but right here your frame comes out just a little bit, which makes it an inch. The barrel is 4.5 inches in length. This does come in not only the black, but it does come in a stainless steel slide as well. Now on the Saucermaz website, they have a number of different frame colors and other options that are not yet available in the United States. They do have a compact version, which is the ST9S, which is 15-in-1, a little bit more toward your Glock 19 size. They also offer the ST10, which is a 9mm, but it's a hammer-fired pistol. The retail price on the ST9 is around the $433 range, I believe it is, but I found it in a number of places for around the $350 mark. So it's a really great buy for a good quality pistol. And we've seen a lot of that coming out of Turkey. They are putting together some really exceptional firearms for a very reasonable price. And I love the really unique look to these pistols. And then also the magazines, which, you know, the price on these really surprised me at $21.95 on the TR Import website. And so the price of the magazines is not too excessive as well. I mean, that's a really good price for a magazine. Now, pros and cons of the pistol. A big pro is the price, and that's one of the great things about what we're getting from Turkey is we're getting some really quality pistols for good prices, whether it's the Canik or, you know, TriStar, some of these others. As far as reliability, it was completely spot on. No matter what type of ammunition I put in there, I was having no problems. As far as the way the features and the way the gun's laid out and the finish, it's excellent. And the translucent magazines, which they're different, I like them. They seem to hold up well. The price is right for about 20 bucks. So this remains to be seen. We'll find out how these do, but you know, there's a lot of different polymer type magazines out there that are doing well, these type plastic magazines. So I don't think that's a con, except that magazine availability, you have to get them through TR Imports. Okay, as far as the cons go, the mag release is definitely something that's stiff. And I've had, you know, just a little bit of issue with that. I would really like to see that smoothed out. In fact, that's really the biggest thing that I've had against this pistol at all. You know, as far as holsters, sights, all these kind of things, you know, it's a fairly uncommon pistol. And so that's one of the things you'll just have to deal with. It's just really with the internet, guys, you know, you can find pretty much anything, or you can have somebody make a holster, but that is a con. As far as accuracy goes, you saw the accuracy was fantastic. And so I think that overall the pistol is excellent. It functioned well, the finish is great, it's accurate. Really, what more can you ask? So if you're looking for something unusual, looking for something different, I think that the Saucermaz ST9 is an excellent choice. If you don't like 9mm, go with 45 ACP. Now you can go to TR Imports and check out all the details and other models that they carry. It's a very unique line of pistols, but they do have a lot of CZ variants. Now I have done a number of different reviews on the Saucermaz, and I want to thank TR Imports for sending this pistol for the test and evaluation. And guys, down at the range, this gun really surprised me. Oh yeah, baby! And the apparel today was furnished by ForgeFromFreedom.com. And long live the Republic. I've got a link down below. You can go to my page on all the different designs that we're doing. And if you want some Sootch swag, you can go to SoochGear.com. Yes, and that was a shameless capitalist plug. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. The Saucermaz ST9, let's check it out. Let's check. And so it's a good, solid, large power. Okay. So, you know, take that. But the main reason I brought the SIG out